You get the sense that it's almost time to bring the trophy here, don't you?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, we've seen the champions elect here. The numbers are staggering. Like to do that, to win 20 games at this stage of the season, and this was a tough game today. They've had a tough game in Europe. They travelled. They come back. They looked a bit leggy early on, but they just got a gear, and more importantly, they got that quality that champions have got now, where they can win a game when they're not at their vintage best. So it looks ominous for the rest of the league. I think it's done for this year. And they've raised the bar again, like all great sides. Liverpool have won the title and they've come back and responded. This is a great side we're looking at.
And today is also an example of belief as well. When you're there in the table and you're top and you haven't lost for 20 matches and you get a team equalise against you, you just go again because you just believe you're going to win every game.
You know, the way they pass the ball, the way they...
Thanks, Jake. Congratulations, Pep. Unbeaten in 27 games, 20 straight victories. But this was as tricky a contest as you predicted, wasn't it?
Definitely. First for the quality for the opponent after 26 fixtures, so being in 4 in the table, so means a lot. Physicality is really impressed, and now I think they had the quality could play with Lingard, with Fornals, and Antonio is always so difficult to control. So after 10-15 minutes, so we say, okay, today we're not going to paint something beautiful. So today is the game to take to take the 3 points. I think the second half we were much better than the first half when we struggled, and learn from this. That is a reality. So when you play a lot of games and runs unbeaten, and after Champions League game with just 2 days, it's normal these kind of things happen.
And Stones and Diaz, the goal scorers, that's a sign that anyone in the club and anyone in that squad can step up to do the job.
They are the best headers, so it's nice to score the goals, but the second one was brilliant for the composer from Riyadh to make the right tempo, the right pass, and good finishing. Yeah, it was. Yeah, sometimes happens. Central defenders score goals.
It's rare to see your defence breached for a change. I mean, not been giving presence to the opposition. The defence has been keeping so many clean sheets. It was rare to see them beaten today.
The normal, when it's a lot of clean sheet, that is unusual. The usual is sometimes you concede a goal against this team, like they run perfectly in counter-attack, so Declan Rice and Solskjaer is fantastic holding midfielder, so a real tough game. We knew it before, and we were lucky. We were lucky for the players again to take our 3 points.
If you go back to the start of the season, 8 games into this season, people were talking about this being the worst start of your managerial career. It's funny how things have changed, isn't it? It's not where you start, it's where you finish. The improvement's been incredible.
But it's not bad after 12 or 13 years as a manager, so make some start I've done. So that means the previous ones were so good. So season is too long, so we cannot judge for a few games like we are not going to judge at the end. The mathematics notes at the end of the season, so that this in that period must be given.
Thanks very much.
Just what we wanted, a game of football, a good, competitive game of football.
Good, competitive, intriguing. I think that's the key, because I think it's not been vintage Man City. They've imposed themselves on the game. They've played it back. West Ham have defended so well, and what they have done when they've got out, West Ham, it's when they connect the second and the third pass, light for the goal. From Man City's perspective, you'd have said before the game it's going to be a looping left-footed cross from De Bruyne and a header at the far post. Out of all the weapons that they got, you know, that was, we wouldn't have said that.
What weak foot, Joe?
Yeah, well, what weak foot? Exactly, what weak foot. But we'll have a look at it now, because West Ham defended fantastically well. We'll say that first thing, and we talk about the details of why things do go wrong sometimes. And what happens is a lovely cross-field ball, and there's your man there, De Bruyne, just there. And as he stops it there, bang, 2 things happen. Ben Johnson does the right thing, because he's thinking, I've got Kevin De Bruyne there, I'm going to show him onto his left foot into that position there. But then if you look at, I'm just going to quickly highlight Dawson here, because Dawson, what's happened is he recognises that they're 3 against 4 at the far post. He's pointing at Souček there to pick up De Bruyne. He wants Souček to drop into this position here, and they'll be okay. And talk about this level where small details make things uncomfortable. Diop he switches off. He's been excellent all game. The whole of the back 3 have. But look at this, and then I'll say looping cross. It's actually quite a decent cross from De Bruyne. He just does a flat, looping, left-footed cross. Diop gets flat-footed. The goalie possibly could come, but he's made a decision, and it's a simple header. So West Ham defended brilliantly, against all of the different threats, the movement of Aguero
And it still wasn't
Zinchenko,
enough.
and it wasn't enough because they switched off a millisecond against this world-class side.
Yeah, those are the levels. I'm talking about West Ham going forwards. You can see they've come in with some belief. I mean, they've hardly seen the football. They've managed 7 shots.
Yeah, listen, we said before the game, West Ham were all wrong for this Man City team because they're a team set up for this counter-attacking football. And whenever they connected the 2 passes, like in this situation, you pick up the goal here, Lingard and look at it, because Man City are so committed to the press that they squeeze you one side. If you connect the second and third pass, you're in all of a sudden. Soufal times his run. It's actually a simple cross. Lingard gets a good kick, and then Sunu does what all good centre forwards do. He follows in, he gets touching. But we said before the game, Man City is so organised and drilled on the press. You have to connect the second and third pass. And later on as the game went on in the first half, they started to do that. And if they carry on doing that, David Moyes will be delighted. They can go on and win this game.
And in case you're wondering whether this man still has some love for West Ham, he was standing right here, and the header at the very end there, that just he was on his knees, he was in the air. You thought it was an equaliser, didn't you?
I did. It was a great chance.
And actually, to be fair to West Ham, it's not very often that you get beaten, and it reinforces your European credentials. But you look at that team now, and you see a solidity. You see, again, belief from them. You get the sense with every passing game, Europe is a real potential now.
Yeah, it's definitely a potential. And I think David Moyes said before, let's not, listen, we don't need to throw all our eggs into this basket. Let's just keep doing what we're doing. And the team's got great personality. You look at them, right, the best chance of the game was West Ham pushing forward against this great Man City team. They matched them up. They've got legs. They've got quality. The subs that come on made an impact. There's so much to be positive about. And I said they leave this stadium losing, but their stature growing, because I think this is a game where they'll look back and go, right, we matched them. We just missed out on that little bit. We haven't got the quality, but they've got something. They've got structure there, and it's a good time for West Ham.
And for Manchester City, they're already in the final of the League Cup. They've got back in Europe, which they play in a few days' time. They've then got Everton in the FA Cup. They've gone a long way in the FA Cup as well. Is it a madness to talk about them winning all 4 trophies? Because it doesn't feel like it.
No, definitely not. And the reason that is, Jake, is because they've got such strength in depth. You know, you look at this season where it's condensed, and you see the troubles that Liverpool had, and you look at Liverpool's bench sometimes, and it looks a bit fragile. And some good quality young players that will grow into be top players. But you look at this Man City bench today, and you look at it, and you've got Mendy, Silva, Rodrigo, Laporte, Jesus. Not just international footballers, world-class players.
And you'll need them with these games coming up.
They
can now chop and change in the Premier League with that gap.
And today's a day where I think Pep's thought this is a good game for Aguero at home. You might not see him in the next 2 games. He might come off the bench, but then he'll get stronger, because he was the only player today he looked a bit off it, and rightly so. He's 4 months out. But you throw him into the mix with a run-in, and you've got to say that they're favourites. Certainly in the 3 competitions in England they're in, and I would argue maybe Bayern Munich have had a little wobble since the World Club Championship, so they could be favourites in all. If they do that, it will be the greatest achievement of any English club.